The Strait people talk about it all the time. It's cool, but strange. As you may know, it's my dad's roping. Bud Strait grew up with the pressures of fame and family as the son of country star George Strait. But what do you do when going after your dreams makes you feel like you're always behind someone else? Buddy is having problems at work and in his personal life, which aren't being talked about in this movie. We also talk about how he's trying to make his own way. Don't go yet. His trip will surprise you in many ways that you won't want to miss. The rise of George Strait that can't be stopped. He was born a long time ago in Texas, which is a big sunny state. His name was George Strait. George grew up in the small town of Pearsall. It was easy and beautiful to live there. His favorite type of music was country, and he liked it since he was early childhood. They meant a lot to George, especially his dad. They pushed him to learn how to play the guitar and taught him to enjoy music. Before he was an adult, George learned to sing and play the guitar. He played at school and neighborhood events. People loved the way he sang. But George didn't stop there. After high school, he joined the Army and got to see the world. Even though he was in the Army, he still found ways to play music. He did great things for everyone in the Army. Before he went to war, George had big plans for his time in Texas. He wanted to be a country music star. When his first song as George Strait came out in 1981, it was like magic. A lot of people liked his songs, and he made a lot of new friends. George's music was unique. People felt good inside when they heard the country sound. As he put out more songs, he had hit after hit. Check Yes or No, and by morning, Amarillo had everyone singing. George Strait stood out because of the way he told stories in his songs. He did more than just make songs. The people who listened to him will remember him. George Strait was known as the King of Country. He won a lot of awards, including the prestigious CMA Entertainer of the Year award. People all over the world loved his shows. It was like going to a big party where everyone sang and danced together. George's singing made country music what it is today, and many acts came after him. He proved that if you work hard and love what you do, your dreams can come true. George fell in love while he was becoming famous. He married Norma, a lovely woman. They were meant to be together. George's life went through many ups and downs, but Norma was always there for him. They were happy together. In 1981, they had a lovely boy. They gave him the name George Strait Jr., but everyone just calls him Buddy. Buddy grew up in a popular and musical family, but George and Norma made sure he had a normal childhood too. Budgie learned about life in their nice Texas home by playing with his friends, going to school, and going to school. Bud learned to be humble and work hard, even though everyone knew his dad. Some of the most important things his parents taught him were how to be kind, respect others, and enjoy singing. Sometimes George would bring Buddy to one of his shows. Bud would be amazed if his dad sang in front of tens of thousands of people. It was fun and a little scary at the same time. But George always told him that singing was about making other people happy. He learned that singing could make people happy and bring them together. Buddy grew up and fell in love with music. He began to write songs while he played the guitar. Seeing his dad made him want to do better. George told him to find his own style, though. A lot of the time, the Strait family got together for fun nights with music, laughs, and love. They sang, played games, and talked about their day. Buddy had a warm, loving home with George and Norma where he could do the things he liked. They went on family trips and trips together, which were great times. Buddy was lucky to have parents who liked him and told him to be himself, even though his dad was famous. Bush singer George Strait loved being a dad as much as he loved being a singer. Bud knew how to be a good person and know how important family is. While they were together, Bud learned how to live, sing, and work hard from George. They would fish, play games, and talk about their days every day. Because George paid attention to Buddy, he always felt unique and important. George thought work and home life should be fair, which was an important part of the way he raised his kids. Even when he was on tour, he always found time to hang out with Buddy and Norma. He would call them every night and amuse them with funny daytime stories. Buddy thought about his dad a lot, even though he wasn't there. George thought Buddy should know that fame wasn't the most important thing in life. What mattered was being a good person and being nice to other people. Bud learned the importance of hard work by seeing how much work went into making music and playing. Buddy knew that his famous dad wasn't all about fame. He worked hard every day to be the best artist he could be. Buddy's dad, George, always told him to be himself and follow his dreams as he grew up. Buddy liked more things about his dad besides his music. He also admired the morals he taught him. Bud learned from George to be humble and enjoy life's little things, like family and friends. Bud had issues like everyone else. Sometimes it was hard to live with a popular dad, but George was always there for him. He would tell her, "Don't be like me. Be the best person you can be." Buddy felt better about himself and found his own style in music because of this help. They laughed a lot, loved each other, and helped each other. George Strait was more than just a country music star. Besides that, he cared about and loved his son. They had a special and strong bond. They would always remember the good times they had with love, music, and family. Find out about the man behind the name Buddy Straight and the problems he has to deal with being famous. Buddy Straight is used to being in the spotlight. He is the son of George Strait, a star in country music. Bud was born on May 14, 1981, in the middle of Texas. He grew up with music, friends, and family who cared about him. Bud was never like the other kids, even when he was little. His favorite games were baseball and football. He also liked music. Like any other boy, he had big dreams and a good heart. Bud has always loved music. He wanted to sing with his dad on stage because the songs were so catchy. A lot of the time, Buddy and George played guitar together at home. Buddy found it hard to stay away from the music scene that had grown up around him. Besides that, he loved playing games with his friends. Bud liked the thrill of competing and working with other people. There was no doubt that he was good at both baseball and football. Buddy liked a lot of different things as he got older. He did things at school. He joined a lot of clubs and met people there. His parents, George and Norma, supported all of his interests and pushed him to try new things and figure out what he liked the most. Bud really liked going to his dad's shows. A lot of people were there to cheer and sing along. These things made him want to write songs that would move people like his dad did. Bud did not want to follow the crowd, though. He looked up to his dad, but he knew he had to speak up for himself. He wrote songs and tried out different kinds of music so that he could make something that was true to himself. Buddy Straight felt a lot of pressure because he was George Strait's son, but he was determined to follow his dreams in his own way. Being George Strait's son, let me do some fun things. Bud was the center of attention when he went with his dad to events and talks. He went to events with George that were filmed and had a lot of people, like award shows and music. Buddy thought these events were fun, but the fact that his dad was famous made him feel bad. People would go crazy when Bud sang a song or two at his dad's shows. Getting to play music for other people on stage made him very happy. Along with all the fun, there were some tough parts. Buddy was a big deal in the news because he was linked to a famous country singer. They talked about his dad's past more than his present a lot while they drew and wrote. People saw Buddy as more than just Buddy. People thought he was George Strait's son. Buddy liked being well known, but he sometimes wished people would see him as more than just George's boy. It wasn't enough for him to just do what his dad did. He was eager to show the world what he could do and how he felt. Buddy wasn't going to give up on his music or public performances, even though things were getting tough for him. He wanted to show that he wasn't just a well-known name. Buddy got his own group of fans over time. People began to like the style of music he was making, and people began to notice how good he was. Just being George Strait's son wasn't enough for him. He was also a painter in his own right. Bud showed off his skills at neighborhood shows and charity events where he met people who liked him just the way he was. Living with a famous family isn't always fun as it seems. Buddy liked some things about being George Strait's son. There was a lot of heat on him, though. Much like his father, many people thought he would become well known very quickly. He often thought that a big shadow was following him. Buddy got a lot of mean comments because people thought he was like his dad. George Strait is one of the best country artists of all time. It was hard for him to live up to that name. Buddy would get comments like you should sing more of his songs. The compliments made him feel good, but they also made him wonder if he could ever be his own artist. He wanted to go his own way and be known for his own skills, not just as a copy of his famous dad. People sometimes feel doubt and confusion because of this worry. After seeing how great George was, it was hard to deal with those thoughts. He wanted to be proud of what he had done without always having to think about how his dad was better than him. He went on a journey of self-discovery to find out who he was, but he also had to figure out how to make his personal life and work goals work together. His family and friends were always there for him, but he often had trouble balancing his love of music with being happy with everyday things. Because of all the attention, it was hard for him to have fun, hang out with friends, and just be a normal guy. Sometimes he just wanted to be the kid who liked sports and music and didn't want all the attention. Buddy kept working hard and being himself even though things were going wrong. By writing songs about his own life, he tried to connect with other people who felt the same way. Friends and family were there for him and helped him remember that he didn't need to be anyone else. George, Bud's dad, always told him to set goals and find his own voice. This helped him get through tough times. Buddy Strait was sick, which has made it hard for him to do his job and go about his daily life. Word on the street is that he is stressed and worried, but he hasn't said everything in public. This is a common feeling for people who live with a famous parent, especially in the stressful music business. It can be hard to move around when the things people expect from you feel like a heavy backpack. Things that seem small can be too much when you're worried. There were times when I was scared to go on stage. Because he is afraid of not living up to his dad's expectations, he might not be able to move. Due to his worry, he finds it hard to do well at his music job and enjoy what he loves. He worried about what other people thought of him and didn't always believe in his own abilities. Buddy has health problems that also make everyday things hard for him. Some days he might be too stressed to practice or write songs. When he doubts himself, it can be hard for him to deal with the pressure to make and do well. On the other hand, Buddy has been strong through all of this. He has gotten help from friends and professionals and has learned how to deal with his feelings and get things done. He still wants to follow his dreams and become famous in the singing business. Buddy has had a tough time in the music business. The boy looks up to his dad, George Strait, and knows what a great job he did. He doesn't just want to be known as George's son, though. He also wants to be known as an artist. When everyone tells him he looks like George, it can be hard to do this. Bud is having a tough time as there is a lot of competition in the music business. As an artist, it's hard to stand out because there are so many good ones. Bud often feels like he's yelling in a room full of people because the music scene is so loud. Even though he writes and sings songs with all his heart, he still has trouble getting noticed. Buddy also has a hard time not being known. It helps that he has a straight name, but that doesn't mean he will be successful. It took a lot of work for him to play in smaller venues and try to get more fans. He stays dedicated to his work, even though it sometimes makes him sad to see other people become famous faster than he does. Bud is sure that he will find his place in the music business if he keeps trying and works hard. His family background also affects the people he cares about. As a kid, he was always in the news because he was George Strait's son. This could make it tougher to meet new people and fall in love. People might be more interested in him because his dad is famous than because of him himself. Bud often wonders if people care about him because they like him or because they are connected to his dad. This can make it hard for him to make real connections with other people. Buddy has had the same kinds of problems with relationships. He doesn't just want to be liked because he's the son of George Strait. He sometimes has a hard time finding someone who likes him just the way he is, with all of his troubles and dreams. There are times when he's not sure if the relationships he's in are real or just a way for him to be around famous people in his family. Buddy loves being close to his family and friends, even when things get tough. His friends and family are there for him when things get tough. George and Norma have always been with him, giving him love and help. Buddy's family is there for him and tells him that he is more than just a name. He has hopes and dreams. Buddy has had more trouble with money than George Strait, who is known for being very successful and wealthy. As a new artist, he has to face the harsh truth that it can be expensive to get beginning in the music business. Buddy had trouble making ends meet sometimes, even more so when he was first trying to make his work stand out. When Buddy sees how well his father is doing with money, it can make him feel scared. George Strait has won a lot of awards and played shows that were packed to the brim. Buddy feels like he needs to do the same. When it comes to money, the comparison can make you feel like you're not good enough. He wants to take over his job, but it's hard to start from scratch. Buddy wants to do well on his own, even though he has these issues. For his music business, he has saved a lot of money over the years. He knows it will take time to build a road that will last. He plays at local events and places and is slowly becoming known and getting help. Bud is ready to put in a lot of work to meet his goals because he knows it won't happen right away. But Buddy Strait keeps going even though things are tough. Still on his mind are his love of singing and his desire to change into someone different from his famous father. People can be strong and determined even when they are sick, having problems at work, having problems with their relationships, or having money problems. It's not enough for him to be George Strait's son. He wants to make a name for himself as a singer with his own story. In the gloom of a story, how does Buddy Strait deal with problems in his daily life and with money while he follows his dreams? Attention from the media and popular opinion. Bud Strait hasn't always liked being around the press. Buddy is often in the news for the wrong reasons. His father is a well-known country music singer. When tabloids talk about his problems instead of his victories, they make them seem shocking. There are stories that lie about his health issues, mental issues, and work issues in order to get more attention. Tabloids often use Buddy's story as part of a bigger story about how he lives in the shadow of his father instead of being fair or understanding. News stories sometimes ask if Buddy will ever be as successful as George. This makes it sound like Buddy is doomed to lose. Buddy may have a harder time with these crazy stories, especially when they involve private matters and no thought is given to how they might impact his mental health. People have been more interested in Buddy's problems than in his business growth, which is a shame because the media loves drama. Good times, like when he plays in small venues or writes his own music, are easy to forget. Setbacks keep getting attention, which adds to the idea that Buddy is having a tough time meeting standards. People are interested in this story that only shows one side. It doesn't always show the whole trip, though. Fans of George Strait feel different things when Buddy has problems. Many of George's most loyal friends have grown to like Buddy and are there for him to help and understand. Bud is more to his fans than just George Strait's son. They think of him as a real person having real issues. Everyone likes that Buddy is working hard to find himself, and many of them cheer for him in the hopes that he does. Fans often write him to show their support because they see how hard he works and believe it's real. However, Buddy isn't nearly as well known as his father, and some people are upset at this. For these people, Buddy can't be separated from how much George Strait meant to them. They think Buddy should have the same job path, and if he doesn't, they might say bad things about him. Some people say Buddy isn't trying hard enough, which is why he has problems. Or isn't good enough at music, but it's really tough to make it in the business. People who don't like Buddy look at his family name and wonder why he hasn't done more. People who do like Buddy look at his promise and understand his troubles. Being both helped and criticized makes it hard for Buddy to get through things. He feels bad that he hasn't met other people's expectations. He's grateful for the people who are there for him. A lot of what people think about Buddy comes from FB and other profiles. With sites like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, people can quickly share their opinions. Both good and bad comments are easier to see. Good things about social networks are that Buddy can talk to his fans straight away. It's easy for him to share news, back new projects, and say what he really thinks without going through the media. He gets new friends who love how honest and open he is through these episodes. When you use social media, though, you are also always being watched. When people say bad things about Buddy, they can spread quickly and make it hard for him to get away from them. Many people try to guess about his personal life, job, or family, which adds to the crazy news stories that are already going around. People who say mean things about his work or compare him to his father can make him feel bad and find it hard to concentrate. Even though there are problems with social media, Buddy also benefits from the good things about it. He gets a lot of support from his fans on these sites, who share his songs and enjoy seeing him grow. They help him remember that there are people who want the best for him when things get hard. Buddy can use his own words to tell his own story on social media. This makes up for some of the bad things that reporters and people who don't like him say about him. Find out how Buddy Strait's family and mental health are important to his future plans and personal growth. Family help and plans for the future. George Strait has always been there for Buddy, his son, whether things were good or bad. George is more than just a popular musician. He is known for being friendly and down to earth. He has also always been there for his kids and loves them. Bud has always had George by his side, giving him support and help when he needed it, even if it was just his health, his job, or something more personal. George knows more about how hard it is to work in the music business than most people. His boss doesn't push Buddy to do as well as he does. He tells him to follow his heart and discover his own path. George often tells Buddy that success doesn't always come right away and that every journey takes time when Buddy is having worries. Buddy stays focused on the job at hand, even when things don't go as planned, because he talks a lot about being strong. George doesn't just say smart things, he also does good things. He supports Buddy by going to his shows and cheering him on. He also helps his son deal with business problems by sharing what he has learned from his own life. He tells them that failure is only a part of the process and not the end. He knows that his dad will always believe in him and be there for him to help him through tough times. Norma, Buddy's mom, is also very important. Always being with her helps me feel safe and stable, which makes up for the problems that come with being popular. It is well known that the Strait family is very close. Buddy has drawn strength from this bond, which gives him a strong base to lean on no matter what. In order to deal with his stress, Buddy has asked for help from experts and from his family. He's been getting a lot of help from professionals because it can be hard to deal with personal problems like worry or identity issues when you're famous. Buddy has found a safe place in therapy to deal with his stress, think about how he feels, and set limits. Buddy has also a better idea of what he wants to do and who he is thanks to therapy. It can be hard to keep your own goals in mind when you come from a famous family, but therapy has helped him remember what's most important to him. He has learned a lot about himself thanks to people who have helped him figure out who he is. It made him feel good about himself so he can explore music and other interests without always being compared to his dad. Buddy's choice to get help from a professional shows how important mental health is these days. It can be hard to ask for help if you were raised in a home that valued being tough and independent. It's not a sign of weakness for Bud to ask for help. He knows that his mental health is just as important as his physical health. He's agreed to go through with the process because he knows it will help him. Bud wants to live a happy life that shows off his unique skills and hobbies. Bud still wants to work in the music business, but he's also thinking about other ways to be creative. He doesn't want to be better than his dad. He only wants to build something important the way he sees fit. He wants his songs to bring people together, let them know about real events, and give hope to those who may be going through the same things. Buddy has said that he wants to mix different kinds of music, maybe even some type of country music. Let him try new artistic things. It might give him a fresh start and help him find a sound that fits him. Buddy wants to break out of his dad's shade and make his own style stand out, which will surprise people and bring in new ones. Buddy is not just singing. He is also trying other things. There's no doubt that he wants to help others, and he might take part in charity projects. He learned how important it is to help others from a family with strong morals. He wants to use his fame to support things that are important to him. Some people think that success is more than just money or fame. They also believe that success means making the world a better place. But he also wants to maintain a healthy work-life balance and grow as a person. No matter what, he doesn't want to be popular. Instead, he wants to enjoy the simple things in life, like being with his family, making new friends, and doing things that don't have to do with music. That success doesn't have to be the only thing that makes you happy is what this new point of view tells him. Bud is ready to face problems with hope and drive, even though he knows they will happen. His life might not go the way most straight people's do, but it will show what kind of person he is. A passionate and creative person who wants to leave his own mark on the world. Buddy is ready for anything that comes next. His family is there for him, he has professional help, and he has clear goals so he can enjoy the journey on his own terms. Thanks for seeing. Don't forget to like, share, and follow if you liked it. Wait for more. To keep learning, click on the next movie that comes up on your screen.